1, 2, 3. Roar! That is by far the best roar I've ever had doing that. Sit down. That was awesome.
Hey, so today's the speech day. I've eaten right, I got some sleep, took some melatonin the night before. Now I've got to do a couple consulting sessions before I go speak. So the light workout that I normally do may consist of walking, but that's okay. So I'll keep you posted throughout the day. Just a point, on days like this, I get really busy. I did spend about 20 minutes meditating. It's really important to stay in the moment, because if you're distracted all day thinking about the speech or what's going to come next, then it's hard to focus when the time actually comes. So stay in the moment throughout the day, so your brain is already practiced and used to staying in the moment. Don't worry about the speech. If you did your prep work, you're going to be fine. Just take the moment day by day. Well, moment by moment. You know what I mean. So I'm going to have to grab a cab right now, and one of the things that I think about, because I just got done teaching a class, typically I want to get somewhere really early, but right now I'm rushing and I'm thinking, oh no, what if I don't know my speech? Just know the first line, because the rest of it will come. So I'm going to grab a cab, I'll be right back. Speaking event tonight, first time in a couple of years, YVR Speaker Series, and the whole theme of the night is perseverance. And let's see how the audience is. They seem cool so far walking in, and I'm just like going crazy. It's been a very full day. I was just sending my videographer, the guy behind the camera, talking about preparing for a speech and how much I like to get to an event early. And here we are, it starts at 7 and it's 7:01 when I got here. So it's just a lot of taking deep breaths and taking those moments to really be able to focus right now is kind of what I'm doing at this moment. It's just breathing deep and gonna go in and enjoy the event and then just be a part of it.
Speaker, Coach, Top 10 Speaking Coach 2020-2022, Expert at Storytelling, Story Amplifying, and happened to be my coach for when I did my TEDx a couple years ago.
You're a good student.
Very suggestible, coachable, also stubborn. But we'll talk about that. It's very important.
Two things can be true at the same time.
David Fisher.
All right. All right, I know everybody just sat down, but I'm gonna make y'all stand up again really quick. Now I was gonna do this partly to get some energy, but the energy in this room is really high anyway, but I am going to show this. I have to hold it for the photographer for 5 seconds. All right, somebody tell me what this is.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur, what kind of dinosaur?
T-Rex.
T-Rex. You get an A+ in David's Paleontology 101. The rest of you can all get extra credit if you show me, don't tell me, but show me, using body language only, on the count of 3, what do we make fun of T-Rexes for? 1, 2, 3. Yes. Now wait, hold it. Now for the photographer, wink, wink. But we hold it because now you've all just been cast in the next Jurassic Park, and you all have to roar enough to scare Jeff Goldblum still in his house right now. On the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Roar! That is by far the best roar I've ever had doing that. Sit down. That was awesome. Now, I did just have a friend on LinkedIn say, not knowing I was going to do this exercise, saying, did you know that paleontologists just theorized that dinosaurs, T-Rexes specifically, make a duck sound? And I'm like, man, you just ruined the whole point of my speech. I did that for 2 reasons. One, I already explained it, just get the energy and the focus, because sometimes after break, people go, now I can chill out. But you guys all have so much energy. We'll skip that point and go right to the next one, which is that all of us have this roar inside of us. Whether we know what it is or not, we have something inside of us. And yet, sometimes we feel like a T-Rex. We're not getting the reach. We're not climbing the mountain. We feel stuck. And what I want to do as a communication expert is to help you communicate in 3 areas: yourself, with each other, and to the world, so that all of us can help each other get to the mountain of success. Whatever that is defined, success is defined for you. Now, I do want to acknowledge 2 quick things. 1, we have gathered on the unceded land of the Musqueam, Coast Salish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples.
Thank you.
2, I have to acknowledge that as difficult as my story is, if I was not white, not a man, and not cisgendered, my story would be that much more difficult. Some of you, in fact, many of you, in fact, most of you in this room have a more difficult journey simply because who you are. And that's not fair. On the other hand, you can create a more inspiring story. Now, that doesn't make it right, but it can make it true. And so the 3 strategic items, strategies that I want to give you tonight in just a few short minutes is how you communicate with yourself, communicate with others, and communicate with the world. And I'm going to use the acronym YSS for YVR Speaker Series to help everybody remember, especially Michael. About 10 years ago, weirdly, almost exactly 10 years ago, and weirdly, about a block that direction with the park right there, I was almost homeless. I'd moved from Colorado. I'm Canadian, but I'd grown up in Colorado, and I had moved from there to here because I'd just gotten into the Screen Actors Guild. My mom had moved up here a year prior to that, and I was like, this is home, man. I can pursue an acting career, and Vancouver is a really beautiful place to be. I felt this was a thin place. This was a place where I felt connected to myself. And then I'd lined up a job, 6 figures a year, and they'll support my acting career. How many of you heard the phrase, it's too good to be true? Yeah, it was. The job fell through. And how many of you guys know that Vancouver, I don't know if you guys know this, it's an expensive place to live? Sadly, that's probably the funniest thing I'll share all night. I didn't have that job, and in a very short amount of time, I lost my investments, lost my savings, lost my car. I was scrounging through the couch cushions trying to find loose change. And just right over here, I walked by a homeless guy at a cup like this, asking for money. For the first time in my life, I felt the weight of oppressive poverty come down on me. If it wasn't for my mom on a pension in Vancouver paying my rent, I'd be homeless. And I identified with that homeless person like I never had before. I saw him and I saw my future. And that's weird. I took 2 steps past him, feeling sorry for myself, and I had this weird thought. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to rescue you. So what are you going to do about it? And that brings me to my first strategy. Yield. Yield kind of has 3 meanings. One is like to give up. I yield in a fight, like in the movies, like, do you yield? No! Right. Yes, I had to yield my anger. I had to give up on my anger and my self-doubt and my depression and my anxiety. Now, did that happen overnight? Absolutely not, but it's the first time I actually asked the question. Secondly, yield is to slow down and observe. And when I coach clients, public speaking or business or otherwise, one of the things I tell them is slow down to speed up. How many of us know the world has changed rapidly in the last couple of years? We have to slow down and observe and see what's going on around us. Yield to pedestrians, yield to bikes. Like, you don't yield, you get hit by a truck, right? We're all going. And sometimes we're like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? That's great. Let's get down to business. Now we have to have these extra questions. Do you want me to wear a mask? Should I shake your hand? Do we do an elbow fist? An elbow fist. That's going to be a new term. I just thought of that. Wow. And it's on video. So we do the elbow fist, right, to say hi now. It's going to take extra energy to connect, energy we didn't have to worry about before. So we have to kind of slow down and go, okay, I acknowledge that I have to have conversations that I never had in 2019. And when we have those conversations, lots of times we go, oh, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. But what we do instead is we can make it a human connection. It's part of our shared human history now. We can make it a bonding experience, but we have to slow down and acknowledge it first. And lastly, and I didn't know this at the time, but yield can bring in a harvest. Yield a harvest. So I slowed down, and my next thought was, well, if nobody's coming, it doesn't matter if it's my fault or not. I have to stop playing victim and be my own hero. I didn't know anybody. The people that I knew here, they were all just as depressed as I was. So I went home, and I watched YouTube. And I didn't type in cat videos or... What I typed in was motivational videos. Motivational music. Motivational mindset. Couldn't afford to buy a book, but the library had books. Started reading books about motivation and mindset and changing the way I thought. And then I started meeting people. Dee, just met him in years. He's one of them. Good to see you, Dee. I'm calling you out in the middle of my speech. But I started meeting people that had the mindset of success and focus and gratitude. And I went, oh my gosh, it's a whole new world. I used to just be a depressed actor. The only time I was happy was when I was depressed. I'll let that one sink in for a minute. And I started to realize that if I have other people around me, success can start to come if I'm around other people that have success, which is my S word, not success, but support. If I'm the hero of my own story, and you all should be the hero of your own story, who are the other people? They're your mentors. They're your Gandalf. They're your Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're your Arighty. I hope I said that right. It's the one person who trained Wonder Woman. Did I say it right, Tiff? Yes. Okay. So in speech preparation, sometimes you watch a video and about saying it, and you say it over and over like 1,000 times to be like, okay, I'm going to say it right in front of a room full of people. But who are you mentoring? Who are you supporting? On your journey to success, who are you helping? And it doesn't have to be, I'm helping you with this one thing because I'm a marketer, I'm going to help you be a marketer. Or I'm a plumber, I'm going to help you be a plumber. The people I learned from, I wasn't even in the same field, but I learned mindset from them. Now, how many of you heard of Dunbar's 150? I knew you guys would raise your hand because they're on my program. Dunbar's 150. Dunbar is a sociologist that said we can emotionally connect with about 150 people. The way he puts it is if you're sitting in a bar and there's an empty bar stool next to you, and somebody walks in and they're in that 150, you could have more or less, but they're in that emotional capacity where you can exchange energy in a relationship, you could be like, hey, come on over, I'll buy you a drink. But if they're not in that 150, even if you know them, you're just gonna go, hey. Right? And then maybe hope that they're not, like you're not in their 150. But what that means is we have a limited capacity for emotional connection because it takes energy. But what if we could, in our 150, or even beyond that, support one another? When you're in the 150, you can do a little bit more support because there's a connection. But what if we did something that was a little bit different with the people that we talk to every day? Whether it's a barista or somebody giving you your DoorDash. It could be somebody that you walk by at work every day and you're like, how's it going? Good. How are you doing? Right, and then that's kind of the end of the conversation. So what if we did something a little bit different? And here's what I'm going to ask Adam to come up. There he is. Okay. I'm like, I hope he's still here, and I hope his name is still Adam. Okay. We just met literally like 10 minutes ago. So everybody give Adam a round of applause, because he doesn't know what he's getting into. Adam is so happy he's even giving himself a round of applause, which is great. So Adam, the only thing I want you to say, and then we'll just have a conversation, but the only thing I want you to say is, hi David, how are you today?
Hi David, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Should we shake hands or elbow or fist
Let's
or
shake
hands? Okay, we can do the, what did I say, elbow fist earlier? I don't know what that is. Okay, you know what, I'm a 9 out of 10. How about you?
Oh, I definitely 9 out of 10 as well.
Sweet, why are you a 9 out of 10?
Well, life is good. I came to the speaker series. Things have been going well during my day. It was a beautiful weekend. I could go on.
Oh my God, no, yeah, I mean, we could go on, but we have a limited time here. But that's awesome, yeah, 9 out of 10. Speaker series, oh my God, what an amazing audience, what an amazing opportunity. It's been a good day, a high energy day. I hope your day ends up at a 10. Thanks.
It's great to meet you.
You bet, you too. We'll see you soon. Now, Joe Cohen, in his book, The Power of Strangers, has a quote. He says, break the script. So instead of saying, hi Adam, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Nice weather. Yeah, it's nice. See you later. We throw something to take somebody out of the script that they're in. So I did this a few months ago after I read Joe Cohen's book, The Power of Strangers. I'm not selling his book, I'm just letting you guys know. But I walked in and it was an empty restaurant. I'd already ordered to go, so I was just going to pick up my to-go order. And she said, hi, how are you? And I said, I'm an 8 out of 10, how are you? And she's like, well, I never heard I talked to 20 people today or 100 people today. None of them said that. They were just like, good, how are you? She goes, I'm a 9 out of 10. I'm like, what makes you a 9? She goes, shift's almost over, it's been a good day. Why are you only an 8? Because I'm really hungry. You'll be a 10 after you have this meal. And I'm like, hey, I said, I'm gonna taste it first, but it smells good so far. And I laughed and she's like, next time I see you, you'll be a 10. And I said, we'll see. I haven't seen her in 6 months. I don't know, I haven't been back to the restaurant. The food was fine, it's just not my neighborhood. But when I come back, if she's there and I go, I'm a 10 out of 10, she's gonna be like, I remember you. Why? Because I broke the script. How can we do little things like this to support each other through a pandemic when baristas are risking their lives to give you your latte? What can we do to give them a little bit of levity in their step? Make them smile. How do you think she's gonna treat the next customer? Yeah. Be an 8 out of 10, be a 9 out of 10, be a 2 out of 10, although maybe you want to, depending on who you're talking to, maybe you don't want to tell your taxi cab driver, I'm a 1 out of 10, man. I took a cab here and he's like, oh my gosh, somebody threw up while I was driving 60 miles an hour down the highway and she opened the door. And I'm like, you're driving 60 miles an hour and she opens the door to throw up. And he's like, I had to stop in the middle of the highway. Well, the reason why we even had that conversation, because I did a little bit more than going, I'm good, how are you? How do you like being a cab driver? Well, let me tell you, blah, 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 right? Have a little bit, take a little bit of extra energy. I know it's hard because we have the COVID thing and we have distancing, we have masks, and we have Zoom, right? But if we take a little bit of extra energy, we connect better. Which leads me to my last point. And it's a little bit, well, it's the hero's journey. Here's you, here's COVID, crisis, battle, mentors. What happens on the other side? The new you comes out. The new Wonder Woman, the new Luke Skywalker, whoever would pick your hero, it comes out. And the last word is Sabonya, which I think I said it right. Now I just had a mental gap. We'll replace it with the word see. See. It's a Zulu greeting, and it'll come to me. But it's a Zulu greeting, and it means I see you. And the response is Yebe Sabonya. There we go. Yes, okay, got it. Yes, did I say it right? Okay, I'm gonna close. It means when I say I see you, The response is, I see you seeing me. This is how we can see the world. What if we saw the world that way? You know what the translation of that actually is? We're connected. I value your humanity. There's no masks between us. This is a safe space that we hold. And in spite of our differences, in spite of the roads and obstacles we've gone on to get to this mountain of success, we're connected. The Celtics called it a thin place when you're connected to what they called God. We can call whatever. But it's a thin place where you're connected with yourself and connected with others. What if we had that attitude of, I see you, when we talk to a barista? When we talk to our business partner or a family member? What if we saw each other that way when we're in conflict? Do we talk to our competition like that? How can we say, I see you in the back of our head that can literally change somebody's vibration? And here's what's cool, and I'll end with this. Nicholas Christakis, who's another sociologist, says that we're all impacted, or we can all have 3 degrees of influence. Which means that if I'm really nice to Hector, I make Hector's day a little better. And Hector goes and he talks to his friend and his friend's friend. My treatment of Hector has influenced his friend's friend's friend. Sociologically proven. Which means that, literally, I'm not exaggerating, the way we treat each other can literally affect, to some degree, millions of lives. Simply because you went, I'm an 8 out of 10 to your barista. Or you resolved a conflict. So as we're all climbing the mountain of success, whatever that is for us, let us all help each other and have the one thing I want you to remember from everything I said tonight is that when we leave, or even while we're still here, but when you wake up in the morning, that you walk out and you go, who am I going to see today? I do a lot of coaching. You can find me at davidfish.ca. It's my website. david@davidfish.ca is my email. If you have any questions, if you want to know more, if you want to do any consulting or anything like that, let me know. But really, my heart is that we connect. You connect with each other. And we all help each other up to the mountain of success. Thank you. So good. Thank you.
All right, so full disclosure, the speech is over, and I mispronounced a word that was not an English word, and I forgot to recap my points and my conclusion. So mispronouncing the word kind of threw me off at the end, because nobody really notices that. Now that I'm mentioning it, everybody's going to notice it. But here's the main thing. The point was made. People came up and said they were influenced, they were changed. There's things they can do differently now in their lives. They feel a spark, they feel energy, they feel practical steps to connect better with other people. And I think that's really the important part. And that's the beautiful thing about public speaking. It's never going to be 100% perfect. I think I've had one speech out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that I felt was perfect. It did everything that I wanted it to do. One. Because somewhere along the way, there's going to be a trip up or a slip or something you forget or something you said that you didn't quite say it right because you said it better in your bedroom. But the key is It's about serving the audience. It's not about your performance. If you focus on serving the audience, the message is going to come out. And that's what I have to rest on, and be happy with myself and what happened.